So, welcome, ladies. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So first we're going to start with Laura. Laura, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Spain. I moved here around 5 years ago. I got married, and he's American. So, and I started all over again. That was what do you want to do with your life? I'm like, oh, good question. I want to draw, because I was working mainly in graphic design for more than 10 years, and I was kind of tired. So I decided to start drawing again, and here I am with an exhibition.
That dream, you put it on the shelf for a while.
Yeah, it's hard, but it pays off. I'm happy, so.
As long as you're happy, and that's what Never Too Late is about, pursuing your dreams. Miicheline Hess, she's an illustrator and an artist, also cartoonist. Tell us, our viewers, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I also work in graphic design. I work at an ad agency presently, and I've always worked in, well, new media for at least the last 10 years or so. But I've always been interested in doing comic art and telling my own stories and telling stories of characters that I create. But it was never something that I took really seriously or really tried to push, because I didn't know if there was anyone who would be interested or any place to kind of put that kind of stuff. So, you know, at one point I was like, well, to heck with it, you know, I'm just going to go for it, and I'll do it for me, and if other people enjoy the stories I'm telling, then that'll be a good thing. And so I started doing it, and I became addicted to using the iPad as like a mobile studio to create my stories and things like that. And so far it's been very well received, and I've been meeting amazing people and, you know, finding good opportunities to get more of my work out there. So.
And Miicheline has an amazing story too, because her stories, she tells her stories they're mostly about Caribbean, your characters, Caribbean stories. So we're going to talk more about her. With me, we have Miss Regine Sawyer.
Hello.
Okay, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the owner, writer, creator of Lock It Down Productions. I have a few series under my belt: The Rippers, Ice Witch, and the upcoming Eating Vampires, which I'm really excited about. I've been working in the industry for about 7 years now. That makes me feel really old. But I actually went to school to become a chef, and food is one of my passions, but so is writing, and so is comics. So I decided to go into the industry and learn as much as I could, and then I just broke out and started my own company.
Okay, and that's for you people out there. We're going to be talking about that. Those dreams that you put on the shelf and thought that, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this. You can make it work. Figure it out. You can go to college for one thing, but you might wind up doing something else, which probably is what you should be doing, your passion. And we have Miss Delia Gable. She is an illustrator and a comic artist. So tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
I actually originally started college in business as a business major, and then I switched out because I've been drawing all my life, and I realized I wasn't happy. So I switched into fine arts, and you know, they were like, nobody does that. I was like, oh, so that's what I want. You can
you can switch.
Now you have room for somebody else. And then I went to school for illustration because I'm really interested in figurative work and comics. And yeah, the book I illustrated, Ninja Named Stan, is out now, and we're working on another series called Dash.
Okay, and we'll be able to show our viewers a little bit about that. Miss Kia Barbee, executive producer and writer of Evolve, the web series. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, as a kid, I always had an active imagination, so it was sort of inevitable that I would have a career in the entertainment field as a writer. So I would say about 4 years ago, I decided to start Elmhurst Entertainment as a way for me to have control over my written work as they became produced. So Evolve was the first project to come out of my company. So I'm really excited about that.
Excited, yes. And her series, her web series, we'll be showing how you can look at her web series at the end of the show, but we'll be talking about her web series and what she does. So where do you see this field going as far as the comic book industry and just the creative end, as far as doing stories and doing illustrations? Where do you see it going, and where would you like to see it going? Because you ladies are contributing your input, and that's going to lead up to something else that I intend to ask you. So where do you see it going? I'll start with you first, Delia.
I'm pretty excited about where it's going. Like, I see a lot of support for creator-owned stuff. A lot of people calling out the kind of same old tired, anatomically incorrect, sexist, ugly things that go on, and when you have a closed circle of creators just doing the same stuff for the same people. I see individual viewers not feeling isolated anymore. I used to feel isolated as a comics fan, and I quit reading comics several times, for several years, because I would just be so sick of it. And now it's just like really beautiful what's going on, and
And I think some people, well, I remember when comics were 5 cents, okay?
I remember
Not
they were
that
$1.
ancient, but I remember. And some of you out there looking, you remember when comics were 5 cents. And I tell everybody, it was 2 people, the Black Panther, and for some reason the Silver Surfer was black to me, as far as I was concerned. Other than that, that was it. I mean, and I read Spider-Man, Avengers, and Iron Man, and all of that, but to see cartoon characters that looked like me was null and void. So to see the characters that you ladies are creating, and like your stories with Caribbean and Laura's stories and the stories that Regine tells, and this is unique what you're doing, Dash. I mean, that's really interesting. And Kia, what she does with film, with her teenager that's coming into her own and finds out that she has these powers. So it's really, really very good. I'm going to pose a question. I'm going to start with you first. You are in charge now. You're in charge. And you are the one that is calling the shots as far as the comic book world and the creative, illustrative world is concerned. What direction would you have it go? See, y'all get a chance to think about it, because the same question's coming to you.
That's wrong. I don't know. I think I would like it to be like my world when I draw, because I like real life, but it's always with a twist, and it has something that it couldn't be possible, at least in this world. But I like to create different worlds where everything can be possible, where your imagination has no limits. So I think that's what I would like to see, not just superhero, superwoman, super something, but just more normal life, but at the same time that is kind of surreal. That's what I like. So I guess I would like to see that monsters.
Because everything that they're doing now with, they're remaking, the main ones. They're just doing remakes, which still is shutting out people who are creative and who can do this thing. So when I'm asking that, now you are in charge. And everybody got to do what, so yours would be to include these other stories, other, stories that are good, I guess yours would be like alternative universes.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, where things speak and and they all have legs, and they think, and because when I'm drinking a coffee, I'm just thinking, what that coffee would be thinking, what? And
so everything has life.
Yeah, everything has heart, and it's alive, and they have their own feelings. Yeah. So that's kind of my thing.
So that's what you would contribute in as far as the creative comic book world is concerned.
Yeah, I always encourage, because I teach art. Basically, what I do besides creating is teaching art, and what I always encourage people is just don't stay with what you know. Just go beyond, explore something. What would it be if you live in another planet? What would it be if you lived in the bottom of the sea? I don't know. Just think in some other places. Put them names, like give them names, give them something to do.
Yeah, use your creativity.
It's that.
Imagination.
Not just something that is going to save the world, but they can have a regular life, but in a different way.
You've had some time to think about this. Miicheline, now you're in charge, and you are directing the direction that the comic book world and cartoons and illustrators are going. So what would you establish?
You know, one of the things that I see a lot, or you see a lot going on now, is how a lot of comic book heroes are being turned into these movies, and it's really garnering a lot of attention. You know, people who were into comic books are crazy about it, and people who are not into comic books were really interested. One of the first things I think of actually wasn't a comic book, but it was a book by a series of books by Ursula K. Guin called Earthsea. And I remember when it was coming to the Sci-Fi Channel, and I was so excited because the dominant portion of the characters in there are different ethnicities, and they like whitewashed the entire thing. So what I would love to see are you know, a lot of almost like Octavia Butler-esque kind of caliber stories being made into graphic novels and being made into movies as well. Like, but really given like a nice like almost District 9 kind of treatment, you know, like Dawn, Wild Seed, and things like that. I would love to see stuff like that, really getting like a front and center kind of attention, and hitting the big screen. I think that you're always going to have the old boys network to contend with as far as comics are concerned. But I think if it was clear enough to people that there were enough openings to kind of come through, that you didn't have to like squeeze through, that you could walk through upright as a female and not have to, I don't know, not to fight so hard to like maintain or acquire a position, where people were, and I mean, admittedly, there are a lot of guys out there who are very encouraging of what I've been doing, and some have been my strongest kind of like, you know, cheering section, but I think there needs to be more, you know.
Always room for more.
Yeah, so I mean, that's something that I would like to see, is just a little more of a level playing field. It doesn't necessarily have to be about who you know or like, you know, what like cup size you're drawing on your character.
Well, you're the creator. You are establishing the yardstick.
Yeah.
So this is what you
more
do.
diversity, please.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good.